Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics. The entire atmosphere in Genoa City had already been bubbling with tension, secrets, and betrayals. But nothing compared to the avalanche of emotions that began the moment Nate Hastings stumbled upon the truth about Audra Charles, a truth that could unravel lives and shake the foundations of trust in ways no one had anticipated. Because while Audra had always been painted as mysterious, cunning, and capable of concealing her true intentions behind a veil of ambition and charm, no one, not even Nate, who had come closer to her than most, ever imagined she was hiding something as monumental as a daughter who had been kept completely hidden from public knowledge, from business associates, and even from her closest connections in Genoa City. And as Nate pieced together fragments of conversations, subtle slips in Audra's usually calculated demeanor, and an accidental discovery of a small locket tucked away in her drawer with a tiny picture of a little girl inside, the realization hit him with a force that left him stunned, breathless, and questioning everything he thought he knew about her. Because this wasn't just about ambition, power plays, or corporate maneuvering. This was about a life, a child, and the tangled history that came with her existence. And as Nate confronted Audra with the discovery, her normally confident, poised mask faltered for just a moment, her eyes widening with shock, her lips parting as if to deny, but then trembling with the weight of a secret too heavy to continue carrying. And though she tried to brush it off with one of her trademark evasive responses, Nate's insistence, his pressing questions, and his moral compass refused to let the matter drop, forcing Audra into a corner where she had no choice but to admit that yes, the girl in the photo was her daughter, her secret daughter, the one she had never told anyone in Genoa City about, not even her supposed allies or enemies. And suddenly, the game shifted, because this wasn't just about Audra's schemes anymore. This was about hidden family ties, and the ripple effects it would send across the canvas of the Young and the Restless universe would be earth-shattering. And what made it even more shocking was the identity of the girl's father, a revelation that didn't just rattle Nate, but would leave viewers and residents of Genoa City gasping. Because when Nate demanded to know who the father was, Audra's hesitation, her conflicted expression, and the tears welling in her eyes spoke louder than any words could at first, until finally, after what seemed like an eternity of silence, where the only sound was the pounding of Nate's heart, she whispered a name that seemed impossible, a name that connected in ways no one had ever dared consider. Tucker McCall, the ruthless businessman with a legacy of manipulation and a history with some of Genoa City's most powerful women, was the father of Audra's child. And suddenly, everything about her behavior, her loyalty shifts, her ambitions tied to Tucker, and her strange protectiveness over certain business decisions made a haunting kind of sense, because this wasn't just strategy for her. It was survival. It was about securing a future for her daughter in a world dominated by billionaires and power players. And the father's shocking identity wasn't just a twist. It was a revelation that tied together past and present in an intricate, messy web. Because Tucker already had connections to Devon, Ashley, and countless others. And now the existence of a secret daughter with Audra wasn't just a scandal. It was dynamite waiting to explode, threatening to destroy alliances, crush trust, and ignite rivalries like never before. And Nate, caught in the middle of it all, realized he was now holding one of the most dangerous secrets in Genoa City, one that could shatter Audra's world if it came out, but also one that weighed on his conscience, because keeping silent would mean betraying the very principles he tried to live by. And yet exposing the truth would not just devastate Audra, it would send shockwaves through Tucker's life, through Devon's, through Ashley's, and possibly even ripple into Victor, Newman's orbit, given Tucker's endless entanglements with Newman Enterprises. And as Nate wrestled with the burden, Audra's desperation became clear because she begged him not to reveal the truth, her voice breaking in a way he had never heard before. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. Her normally icy composure melting into vulnerability as she confessed that her daughter was the only pure, innocent thing in her life, and she had kept her hidden to protect her from the ruthless world of corporate warfare and betrayal that defined Genoa City. But now that Nate knew, everything hung in the balance, and the shocking question became not just about who the father was, but about what Nate would do with this revelation. Because the wrong move could ignite a war, and the right move might mean sacrificing his integrity, his career, and possibly his relationships with others. And as the days unfolded, whispers spread, suspicions grew, and the looming threat of exposure made every interaction between Nate, Audra, and Tucker charged with electricity. Because the truth always has a way of coming out, and when it does, Genoa City will never be the same again. For this was not just another secret affair or business betrayal. This was about blood, about legacy, about the hidden daughter of a man whose name already commanded fear and respect, and about the mother who risked everything to protect her child from being swallowed up by the chaos of the Newman, Abbott, and McCall empires. And the story of Nate finding out Audrey's secret daughter and the shocking truth of her father would forever mark a turning point in The Young and the Restless, a storyline filled with betrayal, revelation, heartbreak, and the eternal question of whether secrets, no matter how deeply buried, can ever truly stay hidden. In a town like Genoa City, the revelation of Audra's secret daughter didn't just sit quietly in Nate's mind. It festered, growing heavier by the second, a storm cloud that refused to dissipate because every glance he cast at Audra now carried the weight of unspoken truths. Every conversation they had was tinged with tension, and every step he took in Genoa City streets felt like a careful navigation through a minefield of secrets, alliances, and unspoken threats. Nate found himself replaying the moment over and over, the moment when Audra had finally confessed, the way her eyes had filled with tears, the slight tremor in her hands, the almost imperceptible falter in her voice as she revealed Tucker McCall was the father. He remembered how for a fleeting instant he had wanted to recoil in disbelief, to ask her to stop playing some cruel trick, but the conviction in her eyes told him she was speaking the truth. And as the realization sank in, Nate knew this wasn't just a secret. It was a ticking time bomb. Audra's daughter wasn't just a child. She was a symbol of power, a link to one of Genoa City's most formidable figures, and a potential source of leverage that could reshape corporate empires. Tucker McCall, with his icy demeanor and strategic brilliance, was a man used to controlling outcomes, bending situations to his will, and navigating treacherous waters like a seasoned sailor. The knowledge that he had a secret daughter with Audra introduced an entirely new variable in the already volatile world of corporate politics, family rivalries, and hidden agendas. Nate's mind raced with the implications. Would Tucker even acknowledge the child? Would he try to manipulate Audra to gain control over her life and career? Or would he attempt to hide the truth, fearing the personal and professional consequences of a scandal erupting in the wrong circles? Meanwhile, Audra herself was caught in a paradox of relief and dread. Relief that Nate now knew the truth, and by all appearances seemed willing to respect her plea for discretion. Dread because now there was one more person aware of a secret she had painstakingly guarded for years. And in Genoa City, secrets rarely stayed buried for long. Rumors had a way of seeping through cracks in the most carefully constructed walls. And once Tucker's name was attached to the child, the consequences could cascade like a landslide. Audra knew that even a hint of this revelation could trigger a reaction from Devin, her ex, whose protective instincts over his family and those he cared for were legendary. She knew it could provoke Ashley, who had always wielded her influence and maternal instincts with strategic precision, and she knew it would inevitably reach Victor Newman, whose network of eyes and ears was unmatched, and who thrived on exploiting secrets for power. Audra's careful planning, her efforts to shield her daughter from the chaos of Genoa City, suddenly seemed perilously fragile. Nate, on the other hand, was grappling with a mix of emotions he hadn't anticipated. His protective instincts kicked in, not just for Audra, but for the child, for the innocence that had been hidden away in a city defined by deception. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. At the same time, he felt an undeniable curiosity about the father, Tucker McCall, a man whose reputation preceded him in both fear and admiration. Nate couldn't help but consider the implications of Tucker's involvement. Was the child a pawn in some corporate maneuver? Had Audra and Tucker's relationship been one of convenience, manipulation, or genuine connection? Or was this something even more complicated? A secret romance concealed carefully from prying eyes, now threatening to erupt into public chaos. The first test came sooner than Nate expected. A casual encounter with Tucker at a charity gala, an event Nate had attended reluctantly, knowing how closely it intersected with Audra's business dealings, was charged with tension from the start. Tucker's sharp eyes seemed to flicker with an unspoken knowledge, his brief nod toward Nate carrying an odd undertone, a silent acknowledgement of the elephant in the room that neither could yet name. Nate's instincts screamed at him. Tucker knew, or at the very least he suspected, the gala, with its sparkling lights, elite guests, and carefully curated atmosphere, became a stage for silent power plays, for eyes and gestures that spoke louder than any words could. Every glance Tucker cast toward Audra made Nate's chest tighten. Every subtle smile or frown seemed laden with meaning, and Nate realized the stakes weren't just corporate. They were deeply personal, threaded with emotion, history, and the delicate threads of family loyalty and betrayal. Meanwhile, Audra struggled to maintain composure, her outward elegance masking the inner turbulence. Every smile she offered to a guest felt like a performance, every measured word delivered with painstaking precision. Nate could see it, the tension in her jaw, the slight tightening of her hands as she held her champagne glass, the way her eyes flicked toward Tucker whenever he entered her line of sight. Nate's concern deepened, because he realized that Audra's secret daughter was not just a hidden child. She was a secret that had infiltrated every aspect of Audra's life, shaping decisions, guiding interactions, and silently dictating the terms of her relationships, in ways even Nate, who knew her well, had never fully comprehended. After the gala, the confrontation Nate had been dreading finally occurred. Tucker cornered Audra in a quiet, dimly lit hallway, his presence commanding and intimidating. The tension was palpable, the air thick with unsaid words. Nate, who had followed at a cautious distance, could only watch as the two engaged in a conversation that seemed both intimate and adversarial, a delicate dance of emotion and strategy. Tucker's voice, smooth but authoritative, carried a hint of accusation and expectation. "Audra," he said, "we need to discuss what this means for her, for us, for the people who will be affected." Audra's response, measured but tinged with fear, revealed the depth of her anxiety. "Tucker, you don't understand. I've been trying to protect her, shield her from everything from you, from the city, from the chaos you would bring." Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, a flicker of frustration flashing across his face. "Protect her, Audra. She's my daughter. I have a right to be involved. You can't make these decisions alone." The exchange left Nate both AED and alarmed. AED by the raw intensity of Tucker's demand for recognition and involvement, alarmed by the potential fallout if this confrontation escalated publicly. He understood the delicate balance at play: Audra's desire to protect her daughter, Tucker's claim of paternal rights, and the inevitable scrutiny of Genoa City's residents who thrived on scandal. Nate realized that the secret of Audra's daughter was no longer just a private matter. It had become a catalyst that could ignite a series of events affecting every major family and power player in the city. Nate's role became increasingly complicated as he tried to mediate, to act as a protector, confidant, and moral compass without overstepping boundaries. He encouraged Audra to communicate openly with Tucker, to negotiate boundaries for the sake of the child, but also reminded her of the need for caution. Audra, Nate said one evening, after a tense discussion, "This isn't just about us, or even you. This is about her. Every move you make affects her, and we need to make sure she's safe, that she's protected from the chaos that's coming." Audra's eyes, glistening with tears, reflected her gratitude and despair simultaneously. "I don't even know where to start, Nate. I thought I could handle this alone, but you're right, I can't. I need guidance, and I need her to be safe no matter what." As the days passed, the tension spread like wildfire. Devin, always attuned to family dynamics, began to suspect that something significant was afoot. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. Observing Nate and Audra's cautious interactions, the guarded exchanges at business meetings, and the subtle hints of secrecy in Audra's behavior, Devin's instincts kicked in. He began asking questions, probing gently at first, then more persistently. Sensing that a revelation was imminent, Devin's involvement introduced yet another layer of complexity. His protective nature combined with his connections and influence meant that the secret of Audra's daughter could no longer remain confined to a small circle. It was destined to attract attention, scrutiny, and potentially conflict with multiple powerful figures in Genoa City. Audra's struggle became more palpable as she faced the realization that her carefully maintained secrecy could collapse at any moment. She grappled with guilt, anxiety, and fear, balancing her ambition and professional responsibilities with the emotional burden of hiding her daughter's existence. Each phone call, meeting, or social interaction carried the risk of exposure. Each encounter with Tucker threatened to tip the delicate balance she had worked so hard to maintain. The psychological weight was immense, and Nate, observing her turmoil, felt a profound responsibility to support her, to ensure that neither she nor her daughter became collateral damage in the inevitable storm. And then came the unthinkable, a slip, a casual remark from an unsuspecting source that hinted at Audra's secret. Nate, ever vigilant, caught the hint, his heart sinking as he realized the exposure was imminent. The city's rumor mill was merciless, and once a whisper spread, it became a roar. Nate and Audra understood that they were racing against time, trying to protect the child, manage Tucker's expectations, and navigate the intricate web of relationships that now included Devin, Ashley, Victor, and others whose influence could determine the outcome of the unfolding drama. The revelation of Audra's secret daughter and the shocking identity of Tucker McCall as the father marked a pivotal moment in Genoa City's narrative. It intertwined personal betrayal with corporate intrigue, emotional vulnerability with strategic maneuvering, and innocence with the harsh realities of power and influence. For Nate, it was a journey of moral responsibility, protective instinct, and emotional awakening, compelling him to navigate an intricate path where every decision carried immense consequences. For Audra, it was a profound test of courage, resilience, and maternal devotion, forcing her to confront truths she had long buried, while balancing the complex dynamics of love, loyalty, and power. And for Tucker McCall, the revelation of fatherhood challenged his calculated approach to life and business, introducing vulnerabilities he had never acknowledged, vulnerabilities that could be exploited or could catalyze unexpected transformations in his relationships and ambitions. As Genoa City braced for the fallout, the story of Audra's secret daughter emerged not merely as a plot twist, but as a lens through which the city's intricate tapestry of family power and loyalty could be examined. It was a testament to the enduring complexity of human relationships, the consequences of hidden truths, and the resilience of those willing to confront the chaos head-on. In the end, the revelation was more than a secret. It was a catalyst, a defining moment that would reverberate across every corner of Genoa City, reshaping alliances, challenging loyalties, and redefining the boundaries of love, trust, and ambition. Subscribe our channel for more latest updates.